God has taught me many lessons in my life and in many different ways. And for some lessons, He leaves me with symbols or memorial stones or something tangible that I can look at and always remember the lesson that He taught me. Well, this trophy is one of those memorial stones for me. This trophy is very special because of the lesson that it taught me. This is my then 4-year-old son Benjamin's second place storytelling trophy. And I'll tell you the story behind it and why it's so special to me and the very important lesson that God taught me through this trophy. My husband Joseph has been superintendent for 2 years at the time of the Sunday school. And when he was superintendent, that meant that he and I were both very busy. And there were weeknights and Saturdays where neither one of us would be home at the same time. So either I would be home with Benjamin or Joseph would be home with Benjamin. But it was very rare to catch all three of us in the home together. So I started really worrying about what effect that was having on our family, what effect it was having on our marriage, and more importantly, what effect it was having on Benjamin's childhood, what he was going to remember in these years of his life. Because at that age, it's such a critical time period, and for both parents not to be there at all times, I thought was not a very good thing. And I started getting more and more anxious about it. And instead of taking it to God in prayer on my knees, I just started dwelling on it more and more and getting more and more anxious and panicking. And that led to frustration. And I take that frustration out on Joseph, of course. So every time he'd walk out the door to go to another church event, I'd get really, really angry. And I made his life miserable, and in turn, it made my life miserable. And then comes the Sunday school competitions. We were so busy getting all the other kids ready and the competition ready that we didn't prep our own son for any of the competitions. But we went ahead and signed him up for the storytelling competition because we figured it's Noah's Ark, he probably knows a story, let's just sign him up and see how he does anyway. So he listens to a CD every night when he goes to bed of 100 little Bible stories, and Noah's Ark is one of those. So we figured he knows the story and hopefully he'll, be able to spit it out a day of competition. So he gets up there to do his little storytelling, and he starts saying the story verbatim as the narrator says the story on the CD. Even big words like treacherous waters. When he said that, I looked at my sister and we both looked at each other like, does this 4-year-old even know what treacherous waters mean? After he was done speaking and he came to sit down, first of all, I was so proud of him. But secondly, I was in a state of shock because it was kind of like God slapping me in the face, telling me, Bindu, wake up. I'm trying to tell you something here. And that day I learned that God was trying to wake me up and tell me that if I just do what He wants me to do, work for His kingdom as He directs me, that if I just do that, that everything else will be taken care of, including my family life and especially my son. He's going to help Benjamin be successful and do well in life if I just do what God tells me to do. And I know there are a lot of people out there in the same situation where you are working so hard for the kingdom of God, whether it's in church or youth ministry or Sunday school, whatever it is, you're just always out there. And you will probably often think like I did, what about finishing school? How's that going to get taken care of? Or when am I going to meet my soulmate? How's that going to get taken care of? How's my marriage being affected? Or how are my children going to grow up if I'm working for God's kingdom all the time? Instead of being anxious about that, take it to God in prayer. And remember this trophy and the story of this trophy when God slapped me in the face that day and said, if you just seek me first, if you do the things that I need you to do, everything else will be added unto you, and I will take care of everything. I am Bindu, and I am a witness.